Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Nexus podcast. As always, I'm your co-host M2 Dave, and of course, as always, I'm here with Burrito Voorhees, aka King Jr., aka Franco. What's up, my friend?
What's going on? Just back at another episode of the Nexus podcast, and weirdly enough, I know I probably shouldn't share this, but I am drinking some hot banana pepper juice. It's just one of those days, I guss.
A banana. That's random, man. I've never even heard. I've heard of ginger juice. I think my brother went with his wife went to a restaurant, like a fancy African everything restaurant, and they were drinking ginger juice, and he said it was something else. But I've never heard of. What did you say it was? Hot
Yeah,
pepper?
hot banana pepper juice. Like I
Hot
know some
banana.
people drink pickle juice, but I don't know. I was just feeling spicy today. I guess I don't know. We'll
Wow.
have to see where that leads us today.
Interesting choice. So so last time obviously we had Tento, which was it was interesting listening to a commentator. Today I asked King Jr. to get us on a high level Mortal Kombat One player, and he didn't disappoint. So he's one of the best Homelander players. He's had multiple placings, including at Frosty Fightings, Defender North, Demon Lobby, Rips Arena. I mean, you guys name it, he has it. Again, one of the best, one of the premier, one of the best Homelander players in the current scene. Uh, and he is none other than MisT. Welcome aboard, my friend.
Uh, Thank you guys so much for having me. M2 Dave, pleasure. Bruto, of course, pleasure, brother. Yeah, I'm just excited to be here.
Yeah, man. Thank you for taking your time. It's the summer. People do different stuff, and they're busy. So thank you for coming on. And I'm looking forward to this podcast because I do want to talk to you about obviously Homelander, who's always a controversial character to this
Yeah.
day. Yeah, to this day, and obviously, just talk about your experience, with Mortal Kombat One, et cetera, et cetera. We usually ask our guests to kind of discuss how they got into MK. Could you talk about
Hmm.
what your first game was and how you made how you eventually made a transition to Mortal Kombat One?
Yeah. So my first MK game was first one I ever touched was Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 on the DS. That was pretty much my first ever knowing or knowledge of MK. Um, and then after that, I once the 360 came out, I got into MK versus DC, and that was like my favorite MK game at the time. Even though I know now a lot of people did not like that game for obvious reasons. That game was very busted, and not competitive at all. I don't even think there was a competitive scene for it, right? Like I don't even remember.
I think Tom and Rio, they went to a couple of tournaments. These obviously my friends, and they kind of competed. But dude, I didn't even know the Ultimate was on DS, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, me and my brother
that shit was
actually
on
owned that
DS.
as well. I remember he
Yeah.
showed me like the Shiva combo, like one of the higher pitting ones or whatever on the DS, and that was like my way of playing that game on arcade mode. I remember it. I don't know if I still have it or not. I lost it like due to time, I guess, but yeah, that exists.
Yeah, dude, I don't even know where my DS is. It's like lost in the ether somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, after MK versus DC, I got into Mortal Kombat 9, and that's like I know MK9 came out in 2011, and then was it Street Fighter came around in like 2009. I was playing both games at the time, and I mostly played MK9 on my PS Vita. I didn't have it on console, so most of my MK9 knowledge came from PS Vita and PS Vita's horrible online netcode. That was terrible. But yeah. And then I played X a little bit. I didn't really compete in X much. Um, but it was a fun game. And same for 11. I didn't compete in 11, but I did enjoy 11 a little bit, not as much as X or 9. Um, and then I was really excited when MK1 got announced because it looked really good. And yeah, like pretty much MK was the first like actual fighting game that I competed in. Before that, it was actually competed in Brawlhalla for a little bit. I went to an offline for that around like 2016 or 2017, around that time. I think I placed like 15 place or somewhere around those lines for my first offline. So
Dang,
I
you
was pretty
played
happy about
Brawlhalla
that.
way back then? I got into it in
Yeah,
2019,
dude.
dude. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
played
was a
it
bit
like
late to the
right when it first
game.
came out.
Yeah, I wish I
Yeah,
was playing it that far back because that's like probably my second favorite fighting game to play at the moment.
dude.
After
I
MK.
wish you were there for when it first came out, dude. That game was so fun. It was so fun, man. Um, yeah, that's pretty much like my first experience with like any type of competitive scene. I did watch like a lot of like online tournament stuff. Like I used to watch Wednesday night fights and all these other tournaments that were going around. Like was it like summer jam or something like that? I know MK9 was on one of those.
Oh yeah,
Um,
speaking of like locals, you're in the tri-state area, like in the New Jersey area, right? Or you've
yeah, yeah,
attended MKNJs?
yeah. I have. I didn't. They started, I think, with MK11. I did not know that they were starting with MK11. I didn't even know that I didn't even know that we had like a local scene here. Honestly, until one day I just searched it up and MK1 popped up. And I was like, oh, it's like it was literally like 10 minutes away from me, so I would just walk there, and yeah, it's pretty much the start of the local scene.
Can you discuss maybe your early Mortal Kombat 1 career? Maybe what are some characters you used and how eventually you transition to Homelander?
All right, I got you. So when MK1 first came out, I actually mained Reptile, and around the time when MK1 first came out, Comic Con was also being held around that time. So Comic Con had a tournament for MK1, and I attended it, and I won it. I got first place. I got a little trophy, and I got like extra tickets for the next Comic Con, free tickets for the next Comic Con. So that was good. Um, and then I switched over to Johnny. I played Johnny for a little bit, and Johnny was the one that I started using when I started going to MKNJ. It was I think it was Johnny Lau I was playing at the time. But what really got me going was when Peacemaker came out. And once Peacemaker came out, he was very, very broken on release, with the double eagly and like frame one
Oh
shield
yeah,
and
yeah.
shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. Shield, just the regular, almost crazy, and then like you said, I forget. Can you remind me? Because I didn't play it that much at that time. It was like there was no cooldown. You can do like Eagly once and immediately do another one, right? Is that how it was?
Yeah, yeah, that's how it was. There was no
Yeah.
cooldown on eagly, so you could just spam eagly.
But there
That's
was a
pretty
cooldown after.
broken.
But there was a cooldown after like 2 reps. Is that how? Is that
Yeah,
how it
yeah.
was?
After the second one, there was a cooldown.
Yeah, yeah, I remember. Oh, yeah, yeah. He just had like a. They nerfed him a lot. That's another character because I've been watching a lot of this young player Noir. I'm sure you maybe competed
Yeah.
against him. He does a lot of
Yeah.
crazy stuff, and yeah, we will save the discussion. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That character, but he was kind of. Oh yeah, Torpedo was mid, right?
Yeah, Torpedo was a bid. It was
Yeah, and,
like it had like insane pushback. You couldn't punish it really. Like it was
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah, and then yeah, it was a mid, and then like the whiff recovery, even after you whiff, was super short. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, well, because Ninja Killer used them in one of and
Yeah.
Sonic Fox won the final combat. Yeah, yeah, you're 100% right. That character was broken, but he was probably like very fun to use.
Yeah,
He was so much fun to use.
one of the things I thought was ridiculous too, like that hasn't been named yet in this discussion, was his elbow drop did like a flat 5% chip damage or something
Oh
stupid.
yeah.
Like even when you up blocked like I think it did like 2.5% block damage or something. So like you were just forced to
Yeah.
floss block it in some cases
Oh
where
yeah,
you
yeah.
would just
Oh yeah,
die to
yeah.
chip damage otherwise,
True. Yeah,
which
it did
was
Yeah,
a
if
lot.
you were
which
like
was just
5%
silly.
health, it was just checkmate. Yeah.
And then, yeah, I think his torpedo started up faster too. I think it's slower startup now too, and
Yeah,
they
it was
did
like
some
frame one.
damage nerfs to like his
Yeah.
strings or something for like so they
Oh yeah,
slightly
yeah.
lowered his damage too.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
think Torpedo was like 12 frames, and they made it 16. And again, used to hit mid, and yeah, that character was he was insane.
It was so
But yeah,
broken.
yeah, he was.
but he was so much fun. But yeah, I ended up. I think after the Eagly nerf, I think it was. Um, I ended up beating Gur at one of the MKNJs, and that was really huge for me because I was a big fan of Gur. I am a big fan of Gur still. Love that guy. And yeah, Hercules was there. I don't know if you guys know Hercules. He competed MK1 for a majority of its lifespan. But Herc was there, and he asked me. He's like, "Hey, you want to be on a team?" And I was like, "Yeah, I would like to be on a team." So that's how I got sponsored to KGE, and I was playing Peacemaker all the way up until Homelander came out, and that's when I really clicked with a character that I don't think I've ever clicked with a character before, other than Dudley from Street Fighter 4. And yeah, ever since Homelander came out, I've just been solo playing Homelander. Don't even switch characters or anything. I just thug it out with Homelander. Even through the nerfs that he got and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and speaking of, yeah, he's gotten not as severe, I would say, as Peacemaker, but he's gotten some nerfs as well. I think the biggest one. What is it normally you guys spam? Forward four, right? The
yeah,
laser. Yeah, they used to be a low, right, which was crazy. So
yeah,
then,
yeah. He's a
yeah,
bit low.
they made it a mid, and then I think I never like could test because I don't use it, but I know that they reduced a lot of his damage, right? Like I don't know how by how much. Can you tell us? Like for example, when the basic throw with when you have Farah, his command throw, his dashing one, like
Yeah.
I think it does like 22% now. Again, please correct me if I'm wrong. Like did it do a lot more back in the day, or
Y-
if so, go
Yeah,
ahead.
so it used to do like 30%, I think, flat doing the optimal combo, and I
Oh
think now
wow,
it
yeah.
only does like 25 or something like that.
Okay, so but would you
Yeah.
agree like
So.
he's not as nerfed as like Peacemaker, right? Am
Oh
I
yeah, no, they killed Peacemaker, but Noir still makes it work with that character. So
Yeah, yeah, he tries. He really tries hard. And dude, I tried using Peacemaker, and I don't know, man. I'll tell you the character I'm using in a moment. But like, I'm like when I try to use, I don't know how he does it. Like, for me, it's rough. I think any character in Mortal Kombat One. Well, obviously, Holman has mix-ups, right? So, and he
mhm,
gets in pretty easily against most of the cast. So, a
yeah.
character like that will always be good. But then, like, I'm using Homelander, and I'm sorry, I'm using Peacemaker and Kitana. I was like, bro, where's the overhead? Where's the overhead, man? Like when I use Melina, I just forward forward throw, like do a low whatever.
Yeah.
When I use Kung Lao, obviously his overhead is not safe, but there are ways around it. And then I go back and use Katana and Peacemaker. And I was like, dude, this is a struggle, man. Like you have to throw a lot more and you have to poke more, and it's. Do you feel the same way when you use other characters that are not Homelander? When you use some of the quote unquote lower tier characters.
Um, my if I'm playing like the game for like fun, I would usually just go to like Peacemaker or Johnny as my two other fun characters, and yeah, it's definitely a lot different than just dashing in and just mixing
Yeah.
people.
Well, you would say that Johnny, is he still strong in your opinion? Even he received a couple of nerfs as well, but not as severe as
Yeah.
Peacemaker. Do you think Johnny's still top tier?
Yeah, I definitely think for sure he's still top tier. He's like the best strike throw character in the game. Like, what is it, 9 frame mid,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like,
I would say that has something to do with it.
yeah, that and like poke special being safe. So yeah,
Yeah,
he's a
yeah.
very good character. He has good damage too. So yeah, pretty
Well,
good.
I don't want to like insult the audience's intelligence. But if you've seen, obviously, most people who are watching this probably already know the way Homelander plays. But can you like give us like a quick like what makes Homelander good? Like why are people like you placing high with him? And obviously others. What makes him strong in Mortal Kombat One?
He has a lot of just like basic fundamental strength, like really good neutral, really good spacing, good mix. He has very good pressure that even in itself is its own mix because you either have to up block or if you guess wrong you get hit with the like 4% low and then you have to guess again. So he has definitely the strongest pressure game in the game. I guess second to like maybe Johnny. or who's another very pressure character? Probably like
Maybe Havoc.
Honestly, Garrus isn't too bad
Havoc,
on the
yeah.
pressure side with low shot, but I might be upplaying a little
Yeah.
bit, saying like in the top two.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Gears
think
top one
Havoc.
burrito.
We'll get into that. Yeah, I think Havoc 1-1. 1-1 is +3, right? 1-1 +3. 1-1 2. Is it also +3, right, or something like that? It's overhead. You can unblock, but obviously, unblock against Havoc is very, very dangerous because you're gonna hit by
Yeah.
those scoops. So yeah, Havoc is. Even his footsie tool back to 2 is kind of essentially like a 50-50, right? You can throw.
Yeah, and
You can
they never fixed his glitch back to either.
What's the glitch?
So if you press block and back two at the same time, you actually go farther
Interesting.
instead of
Really?
just doing back two. Yeah, that's why they call it glitch back two, because like it literally extends his hurt box
Wait, so you do
or
back two and then
hitbox.
you do back two, then you immediately block? Is that what you're saying?
No, you do a block and back two at the same time, or block and then back two, like
Ah,
in quick succession. Yeah.
wow. I don't know how I never knew that. I use Havoc a lot. I like Havoc Striker. Well, who the fuck doesn't, right? Yeah, that character's kind of like fits kind of the way I want to play. I didn't even know that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to when I go in ranked. I'm gonna have to start doing that.
Yeah, you'll notice it. You'll notice if you do it correctly, because like there's like a animation skip when he does it, and he
I've
like
seen that.
literally
Yeah,
lunges really far. Yeah.
I'm sure that what's his face, Snake, though. I'm sure I've seen him probably do it before when he plays. So
hmm
yeah.
I honestly
I mean,
wasn't
it's
even
been in the
aware
game
of
ever
that.
since. So.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't know
yeah,
about
Oh, you
that.
didn't know that either, Burrito?
No, that's news to me.
Yeah, it's been in the game since he came out, I think, or after he got buffed. Or it's been in the game for a while. And yeah, pretty much every Havoc player abuses it.
Yeah, I can see. Well, especially because obviously back two is already a good normal. If you give it, if there's a way to give it more range, then why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally goes like full screen sometimes.
So you said obviously for Homelander, he's got good makes, right?
hmm
Just real quick, you would agree, like, Farah, is that like the go-to cameo, or like other cameos that at that level people are just not using them?
I definitely think Fair is the definitive cameo choice for Homelander. There's another player. His name is Sek Bohannon. He's on Team ELG. He plays Homelander Striker, and he actually does pretty good with them. Striker, obviously giving you the safety that you need, and gunshot is broken, so any character can use that. Homelander Tremor is also pretty good. I know the Brazilians play that team a lot, and there's very one niche team with him, and it's Homelander Darius, and that team is literally just hard to block mix all the time. So,
Yeah. Speaking of the Brazilians, I might have seen as well, maybe Homelander Jax once as well when.
oh
Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
Homelander
I
Jax.
think that was one. Yeah. Because I think you can you combo with the up grab whatever after your command throw? Is that how? Again, I could be wrong. I haven't
Uh,
watched their scene in a while, but I remember I think one player doing something to that extent, but I could be wrong.
I haven't labbed the team myself, but I'm pretty sure you can combo with Jax grab. I know for sure you can definitely combo with ground pound. So
Yeah, yeah. So let's kind of ask you about. Do you think that again, King Jr., I apologize. I know I'm like hugging all the. I just like I really enjoy talking about a game. Which most of my peers have quit this freaking game, so I enjoy talking to people who actually still play it. Play it. And then
yeah, of course.
I'll ask one more, then I'll let King Jr. jump in. Can you maybe
Mm,
talk about um, certain maybe matchups that are obviously he's top tier. I think he's the best character in the game because I think he's so versatile. And if you
yeah.
disagree, you can let me know. Uh,
Mhm.
well, let's start with that. Do you think he's like one of the better characters in the game, like one of the best ones, or you disagree with that?
I definitely think he's top 3. I'll maybe downplay a little, say maybe top 5, but
Yeah.
he's definitely in the top 3 for sure. I think Cyrex is really good, and I think Havoc is still really, really good. Um, and those
Are those,
characters are
are
pretty
those your
much
top
like,
three? Are those your top three?
yeah, those are my top 3 for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Homelander's matchups. I actually made like a matchup chart pretty recently.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, he has a lot of 5/5s, and he does beat like a couple characters, like Sub-Zero. He beats. I feel like he beats Reptile. Um, he also beats Baraka pretty hard. And I know a lot of people tell me like, hey, like Homelander beats everyone, or like Homelander has no losing matchups. But I've been playing the character for 2 years straight, so I have a pretty confident feeling like I know what I'm talking about. Um, and he does lose to, I believe, Shang. He loses to because um Shang has a tick throw with Farah that he can
Yeah,
do
yeah.
off of any string, right? So that makes the matchup like impossible. He
And I
also
think
loses.
we've seen what's his name, Faisal, right? Is that the Middle
Yeah.
Eastern player, right? If you've seen him kind of
Mm.
counterpick, I don't know if it's a counterpick. I guess it is counterpick Homeland Affair players with Shang Tsung, and abusing what you just mentioned.
Yeah, it's like just it's impossible because like every string he can just tick throw off of it and get full combo with it with Tremor or like Sector or any other character really or cameo rather.
The only good thing is Shang Tsung is a pretty rare character, right? Like I don't see a lot of people,
Yeah.
well, Faisal actually uses Shang Tsung, so he's not actually counterpicking, but Shang Tsung is not like
Yeah.
he's like a Dhalsim in Street Fighter 6. Like he's like it's not
Yeah,
really a
very
common.
rare.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
very rare
rare.
pick.
But yeah, go ahead.
But I'm always scared to go against a Shang player though, just cause of that
Oh, I don't blame
tick
you. I
throw.
don't blame you. Yeah, that is very scary.
But yeah, I also believe he loses to Melina and hold on, if I pick I'm looking at the matchup chart because I don't remember off the top of my
Yeah, yeah,
head.
no problem.
I'm still waiting for you to say that he beats Garrus.
Burrito, we've had this conversation already, buddy. I think it's 5/5. Oh yeah, he loses to Johnny and he loses to Raiden. Johnny's just strike throw pressure is really, really good. Um, and Homelander's armor isn't that good, even though it did get buffed, but they also nerfed it at the same time because you can't make it safe anymore unless you hit the strict Farah timing, which even then, if you mess that up, you're pretty much dead. And Johnny's up close game is very, very good against Homelander because Homelander's down one poke is not the best. It's kind of like Gear's down one in a way, very stubby down one. So he can get out neutraled a lot in that sense.
Why is Melina?
Um,
Why do you think Melina is a bad match?
so Melina has what I call the woman privilege, which is pretty much a hurt box issue with Homelander. Because if you try to pressure with float 4 into another float 4, the woman characters can actually down one you out of it because they shrink their hurt box or hitbox rather, and
Is it
they
is
don't
it
get
all the
hit.
is it all the ladies that can do it? Like all the
Yeah, all the yeah.
yeah.
So Katana, Sector, Tanya, Lee May, all the woman characters pretty much have this woman hitbox, and it pretty much they can literally just negate any of my float pressure.
Yeah.
So that's one.
Interesting. Yeah, I did not know that.
Melina can also ball roll forward 4 on reaction or air ball roll forward 4 on reaction or any lasers really. She can punish laser from mid screen, high or mid laser. She has good pressure with Tremor. And Jax is also a good teammate with her. She has good up close buttons. She has good mix with stand one into low side, or her overhead that I can't block for the life of me because it's like fast as fuck.
Yeah, I don't think you can block that on reaction. What is
On
it? Is it
reaction,
like
yeah.
what is it? 18 frames? I forget. I know it's and it's the I believe it's the single most, like from the overhead attacks that knock down. I believe it's the most damaging one at like what 12% or something like that. It does a lot.
Yeah, it does so much damage.
Yeah.
So much damage.
Who do
But
you think? Who do you think is? Because in the past we've seen Lao, Melina Kung Lao. Do you think Melina Tremor is better, at least against Homelander?
Yeah, I definitely think Tremor's the best pick against Homelander because you can pretty much do poke special into Tremor and keep it safe, or you can like fake Tremor out, so then you have to hold the pressure. So yeah, Tremor's definitely a good cameo and is a good counter against Homelander in my opinion.
I see. Yeah, your reasoning, yeah, it makes sense. But anyway, King Junior, go ahead and jump in. I'm rambling and asking too many questions, and I'll ask some more. But go ahead. Do you have any questions about his, like matchups? I know what you guys are gonna get into, and whatever you can if you want to. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to talk about the Garrus matchup because
Oh
I'm
my
I'm not
god.
doubting your Homelander knowledge or anything, but
uh
which I'll give you. I never knew the females were privileged in the regard of his airborne pressure or flight pressure.
yeah.
I don't main Homelander, so I feel like mainly Homelander players, to some extent, would probably be the only people to know that. I barely used Homelander myself, so. But
Yeah.
my reasonings for saying Garrus loses the matchup is because forward 4 being the disjointed normal it is with low recovery frames. Like for Garrus, he doesn't have like that many normals that lead to like a string or a special cancel that's like disjointed. Like most
Mhm.
of Garrus's normals outside of his sweep and like super slightly partially his down 4 don't lead to combos unless you use snap or something, but that's obviously 3 hourglasses that you could potentially waste if you're not um, on point with your timing or if you just make the wrong read, because you're not going
Right.
to always be able to react to certain things with snap because it's like 22 frames, I think 24 frames. But um, so it just forces Garrus to have to commit to getting a whiff punish with either back 1-2 or forward 2, and I think
Mhm.
it's really hard to contest with Homelander's forward 4 in combination with his forward and back walk speed. It's just the fastest in the game. It's like unholy, like diabolical. Um,
True.
and he can diabolical uppercut punish Sandstorm from like full screen. Like as long as it reaches, it will punish. And then
Right.
I can't use snap from like half screen or closer because it'll also get punished for the same punish with the diabolical uppercut. So like unless I maybe Motaro teleport away, which I pretty much have to use far teleport, that's gonna drain my cameo meter, put it on massive cooldown, and I either feel like I can't use the moves at all, or if I do, I'm gonna be forced to use half a cameo bar that has like the slowest cooldown of all my moves I'm using with Motaro.
Mhm.
And then obviously if I do the far teleport for my first cameo bar and use low shot, I'm still gonna be stuck on the old cooldown from the far teleport. So then my cameo's like super regenerating slowly, and I feel like I'm in a dilemma against Homelander because if I don't approach him, even if I have a life lead, if I don't approach Homelander, I'm just giving him free command grabs with Farah. Like so,
Mhm.
I feel like opening somebody up with Homelander is like a lot easier than opening up somebody with Garrus in most situations outside of like Sand Clone mix, but that's like very
Right.
meter intensive, whereas the Farah command grabs are meterless outside of
Mhm.
cameo meter. So that's just like a few things I can name. The only saving grace I can like, or honorable mention, I should say, not even saving grace. Um, it is like nice to have my armor airborne punish flight if I make the read. Because
Mhm.
obviously if I land it on the ground, it doesn't launch. But if I catch you in the air with it during your flight stuff, it will launch you. So that's cool, I guess. But yeah, footsies I think is just really rough for Garrus against Homelander, and yeah, it's just I feel like I can't do too much. I can't really sandstorm or snap in some cases, and forward. It's mainly the footsies with forward 4 though. Um, that's like my main issue with the matchup.
Yeah, I can see that. Um, you say something, Dave?
No, you go ahead. You go ahead. I was gonna ask you like,
Alright.
what do you like? What do you have to say to his arguments? Obviously, I'm neither not a Homelander player nor a Geras player. I mean, I can let you know what I think. I think that, and again, feel free to respond, please. I One of the reasons why I quit using Sector is because of Homelander. Because that dash, for the way I like to play, because as you can tell from my avatar, I like zoning. I play stop 8 with Freddy, and Mortal Kombat 9. Like that character is just incredibly difficult to zone. Like the dash just essentially it's like a run button. I mean, and even just trying to react to the command throw, like, dude, you have to let go blocks so far in advance. I mean, it's just insanity. And then you try to
Mhm.
play footsies, you have no chance. Like it's just forward four, even though they reduced the I guess the hit range, like still hits so far away. And obviously all the
Yeah.
good players like yourself, they're gonna hit confirm it into a combo anyway. And then you have the lasers, which is more like, I agree with you, it's like a matchup. I guess against Melina, you don't want to use it right at mid range because you're just gonna get comboed. But in many
Right.
matchups, I don't like Cyrax, right? Like you can throw it out, it will beat her, the goo, etc. So I feel like a character like who out pressures you, out footsies you, most of the time like out mixes you.
Mhm.
I don't think it's too many bad matchups. Again, I don't know the matchups, you're the expert, but it would seem like the Geras matchup would most likely be in your favor just because you out footsie him, you punish the projectile he kind of wants to use to build meter. You have better mix-ups than he does. Um, I guess he can kind of run away, but it's running away um, against Homeland is very difficult because of that dash. Like if I know a long time ago, certain people are saying, "Oh, they nerfed him wrong. They should have reduced his dash by half." I think if they had done that, I think Homelander would have maybe lost some of these matchups, but like the Gears one. But yeah, I just don't see. I think the only character who can somewhat contain Homelander, from my experience, for the way I like to play, I don't think it's even Gears. I think it's Kung Lao, because Kung Lao can put a
Yeah.
12 frame aerial projectile on the screen that will kind of cover both options. And when I play ranked, I'm like, dude, I'm never picking Sector again because I'm so scared of Homelander players. But when I pick Kung Lao, it's like, yeah, you have better footsies, but what does Kung Lao have that reaches like a lot? He has armor, right? So that will scare you from, just throwing out forward four. And I
Yeah.
can, kind of run away, throw my hair, toss in the air. If you dash at the right, wrong time, it will, I'm plus 60, and then sector missiles are coming, and now you have to guess. That's like the only character I feel like can kind of contain. Again, for the way I like to play Homelander, I don't see anybody else who. Again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, and I think Gears is kind of like part of this conversation as well, who can kind of contain him to that extent. Uh, do you think I'm right or wrong, or again, do you see it
Yeah, you're
differently?
definitely correct. Even though I think the matchup against Lao is 5-5, I
I
do
agree.
think it just depends on like the player at that point because I fight Kale all the time and he's using Lao and it's literally just a zoning fest until he gets double sector rockets back and now he can just dive kick in and mix me, when I have to hold double rockets and stuff. So,
What do you
but
think about
there's
what do you think about Kung Lao's sector, or whatever Kung Lao striker, which is gained a little bit more attention? What would you rank Kung Lao on the on the tier list? Because I've seen some like insane rank, like certain people I put him like low tier, which I think is complete insanity, and certain people also like especially when like Kale like initially one was a combo breaker. I was there for that one. I think
Mhm,
they put him like top five, which I think is also crazy.
that's crazy.
Yeah, what do you think of Kung Lao in this game?
Um, I think he's a very good character. I actually played Kung Lao Goro a little bit when the game first came out. That was really fun.
The toxic armor.
That was so toxic.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't think he's top 10. I think he's just a little bit out of top 10, maybe like top 13-ish around that area. Um, I do think some characters can outzone him, and I think a few other characters can run away better than he can. Um, like I don't know. I think Quan does well against Lao, just because he can literally stop him from doing air hat with a stand four or the overhead kick.
Yeah, it's a matchup you kind of want to, that's a matchup you kind of want to go in, right? And uh, take advantage of Quan's crappy low pokes and strings. So you can kind of
Yeah.
throw projectile, but yeah, you don't want to do it too much because anytime you can randomly teleport standing for obviously overhead, right? No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
That's a matchup you kind of have to play different. For me personally, I hate Cyrax. Cyrax has a lot of crushing armor. Like what is it, forward one, even
Mm.
back 3/3 when done. If she does it early enough, can beat armor, which you don't want to. Again, that's a character you don't want to get knocked down, right? You can just die. And for
Right.
some reason, instant aerial hat toss traits like the projectiles literally like pull a Street Fighter against the goo, and like they just you know both disintegrate, which is weird. Whereas the one on the ground actually beats it. So, but again, you want to obviously the one in the air is better because it's faster. So I don't know why that happens exactly. So speaking of glitches, like I thought,
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I was watching Kale play recently against a Lee May player, and Air Hat actually just disintegrates a lamp. Like it just clashes and they both just go away. I'd never noticed that
oh
before.
yeah, that also happens with that. Yeah, so I don't know if that's a glitch. It's just very weird. But the point is like I think Kung Lao Cyrex was that to me, especially like pre-patch, was like horrible matchup. When Goo didn't even disappear
Yeah.
on a clash or whatever. So I think that's very difficult. Homelander is still difficult. The one thing I hate about Homelander is like the aerial pressure, because when you do your armor, like the not the spin one, the what is it? What do they call it? The
Was it the
shimmy
back
or
forward
whatever.
two?
Yeah, the back forward too. Like he can kind of like make it whiff somehow. I don't know what the timing
Yeah.
is. Yeah, yeah. So that's like really scary. So you kind of have to watch out. It's like you don't want to make it whiff because I think it becomes punishable. So, but yeah, that's annoying. But other than that, I don't mind Homelander too much with Kung Lao because again, I can just kind of like run away and make him come to me. You know,
Mm.
call double missile and then go for the mix up, which is what you would do with Kung Lao in most matchups anyway. Like so, that's just kind of
Yeah.
like just kind of like but yeah, not to deviate too much from the Gears' conversation, but again, to me personally, like watching from the outside, I would think that it would be more difficult for Gears than it would be for Homelander.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like my biggest issue with the mashup, like I said, is like just trying to keep or no, trying to keep Homelander away. It's like trying to run away from your shadow. Like he's like always in your face no matter what. Like I feel like in most matchups I can like usually far teleport away or something, and like reverse time is usually like pretty helpful. But like I feel like there's times where you can open me up more times than I can reverse time, and then if I'm out of hourglasses on like your second opening, for example, or you might just open me up first and I don't even get the land hourglasses. That does happen sometimes. Like Homelander can just
Yeah.
steamroll you. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, those are my reasonings though. Not to harp on it too much, but yeah, I do feel like it's just so hard to keep him out. That dash just covers almost the whole screen.
Yeah. I definitely can see that. But I fought a lot of Gearuses. I fought Gur, I fought Jacka. So I say I'm pretty experienced in the Gearus matchup, and I do believe it's even just because we both have pretty good counters to each other. And you have your armor counter for my air pressure. I have diabolical dash for your sandstorm and stuff like that. So it mostly just becomes like a mind game match at that point. So it's like, oh, is he gonna sandstorm or am I gonna float here or stuff like that. Um, but most of the time in mid range, I think that when I do try to get in, let's say I'm fighting against Jacka. When I try to get in on Jacka, he likes to definitely keep me out by using sweep or overhead. And when I try to get in range to use my forward four, most of the time I get hit by the overhead because it low profiles my forward four. So when I try and forward four, I get hit by the Gears overhead. I don't know if it's forward four or forward three. I don't remember.
Forward three.
Um, yeah, forward three, and then you get a free hourglass, I think, um, I don't know if it's free. I don't know if I can wake up punish with like laser or
You
something.
can wake up diabolical uppercut punish. I have
Huh.
to Motaro teleport if I do hourglass after 4-3 on hit.
Yeah. Okay. There's that, and then there's sweep, and then there's the Motaro pressure with like what is it? Forward. You're advancing high. I think it's like what 4-2, forward 1. I think.
Yeah, 4-2
Um.
4, and his low string is forward 4-4.
Yeah. So that all jailing pressure, and most I can do is either hold it or armor out. But there's that. Um. And mostly in full screen, I think it becomes like a zoning war because I can either trade with laser into sandstorm, or if I block sandstorm and then I try and get in with dash, you can like down 4 poke me to check me and stuff like that. Full screen, I don't know about mid screen. I think mid screen I can punish you, but full screen I don't
Yeah,
think I can punish
mid
you.
screen you can super punish me. It's like not even funny.
Yeah.
You probably have like 16 frames of leeway from half screen. Like I'm not even
Yeah.
shitting you. When they made Sandstorm, I think they had like flashbacks of like MK11 Garrus and Sand Trap.
Yeah.
And yeah, they made that move like minus 28 on block or something ridiculous. Or like I think it's minus 24.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the sand trap and the hourglass summon, which when I first started like playing the matchup, and both against you, obviously King Junior as well as your brother, they were telling me like, dude, there's a lot of recovery. You can, sometimes there, you think you cannot punish, but you still kind of can. So that's when I realized like in most situations you can, like when if I'm using Kung Lao Sector, I can, punish with the teleport. Or if I'm using Kung Lao Mavado, you can easily grab them. Which, by the way, Mavado even punishes the what is it the move called, Franco, the sandstorm.
Yeah,
You
the
can punish
Sand
Mavado.
NATO,
Yeah,
Sandstorm.
yeah. You can punish with the Mavado's grab anyone on the screen, which is also very nice. I like that. So, um, but I think the thing is, with Homelander is I think he probably gets in. Um, fairly, I don't want to say easy, but he gets in. But I understand your point about the overhead and the teleport, and I
Mhm.
think that's the reason why I think like any character. I used to blow up Franco because he told me like the overhead was reactable. But I think that's just complete garbage. Uh,
That is
uh,
not reactable.
it's not reactable,
That's
and
in the
even
that's in the
obviously
context of an offline scenario, but go on.
no,
Um,
no, it's not. Even if stuff that people get away with, like for example, I was watching Sunyu play just I believe yesterday on Vape Coach's channel. Like he hits those, he hits that overhead like a lot with Sector, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's fake, right? Because I played you with my Sector and I hit you with that move online like 35% to 40% of the time. Then we played offline and like you literally blocked it like I don't know, like 95% of the time, right? The only time I hit you was just like out of nowhere, like it was just luck, right? So I think I keep it real as to what's actually blockable reaction and what isn't. And I think you and your brother are known to I sometimes confuse like fuzzy guarding and just like having really good defense with like trying to block these. What is it? Is it like 19 frames or something like that?
Yeah, it's
These
19
overhead.
frames.
I mean, you guys have made some pretty absurd statements about that just turned out to be completely false. In terms of like what can be. You even at one point thought Kung Lao's forward two was blockable. That's insane.
I
Dude, that
still
thing's
think
like
it
eight.
is.
Dude, it's
Again,
eight.
I know there's no gray area with you though. Like it's not as simple as black and white. Like if it's reactable, it's 100% of the time. Like it's not like that.
I don't think there's 18 frames on an overhead is not blockable reaction unless it has like a clear animation. And I already gave you one example when we talked about this topic a while ago, which was like Injustice One, um, Frost, right? What is it, 4-3, right? Because you guys are reacting. I told this, you even admitted this to me, because you guys are reacting to that, her spinning around, and that's how you can tell. But you actually cannot, if it were not for that obvious animation, you usually cannot react to something that fast. So So anyway, the point is Gears' overhead is not reactable. Neither is Kung Lao. Neither does any of this stuff. The stuff that is reactable that people get away with online is stuff like Sector's overhead, Sub-Zero's overhead, obviously, and
Yeah.
even Havoc's. Like if you do immediately like instant aerial dive kick. I believe it's still on the slower side. I believe it's reactable, but I don't think Lee Mace is because I think hers is a lot faster, if I'm not mistaken. So if when hers is done right, I don't think you can react. I mean, again, go ahead and chip in, MisT. I don't know. Do you agree with what I'm saying, or
Yeah, definitely the fastest overheads are for sure are unreactable. Like anything below I think 20 frames is probably unreactable. But definitely like Sub-Zero's overhead, even Reptile's overhead. Um all the slower overheads are definitely reactable. I'd say online even and offline.
I think
But the
Raiden's is
faster
20
ones,
frames, I believe.
oh
yeah?
yeah, that shit is unreactable even offline and online. I get hit with that all the time. I'm mostly
How
fuzzy
fast is
guarding that most of the time.
How fast is Melina's? Is hers faster than? For some reason I forget
I think it's
her.
19 or 20.
Yeah, it's something like
Yeah.
that.
And
I
then
don't think I don't.
Ghostface, I think, is 20. His back two, his little downward stab, which I think you can react to
Hmm.
that sometimes.
I don't know what that
Sometimes.
means. I don't know what that means. Like, what it doesn't react to
He,
what it.
he doesn't know what the color gray is.
I don't know what sometimes like it's either reactable or it isn't. Like, what does that mean?
Some. If you're like
Sometimes,
locked in, Dave, it's
yeah,
reactable. If you're not,
locked
it's not
in what? Like,
reactable.
why would you playing the game? Why wouldn't you be locked in? What?
I don't know.
Would you?
That's just the nature of fighting games. Sometimes you can't lock in like towards everything.
Yeah, I feel
I
that.
guess you had a tough night. Maybe you went to the bar. I don't know, man. This is very silly to me. But let me uh, let me ask you about. Uh, I like this character association game. I'm gonna name a
Mhm,
character and I'll save some for Franco. One thing that I like to discuss. Who doesn't like to hear like a tier list discussion? Obviously, we're not gonna do a depth one, right? Because we will run out of time. But let me name some characters. You tell me like top, mid, low, and maybe a quick, um, a brief description. Since again, you're a high level player, you play this game, you've been playing it for a while. I want to hear what you have
mhm.
to say about some of these characters. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Uh, so obviously, kind of we talked about Kung Lao already. You think he's like high mid tier century, which I agree with. I think he could be top 10. It's difficult to say, right? Maybe like 9, right 10. So I'm gonna walk away from that conversation. But I think another controversial character that um, that kind of has placings all over the tier list is Sector. Um,
Hmm.
where do you rank her?
I think she's um definitely, I'd say maybe just out of top 10. Her zoning is very, very good. Especially with Motaro and especially like the way Sunio plays her, like you're just never getting in on that character unless you're playing either like a teleport character or a character that can get in fairly easily. Um, but yeah, that character is very, very hard to fight. Even with Homelander, she's kind of hard to fight.
No, I
Um,
agree. If you don't have like really good mobility, she can be a pain in the ass. But I do believe like someone like Melina probably beats her. I can see
yeah,
Scorpion doing well. Probably Smoke. Characters like that, right? Would you agree that probably do well against her?
yeah, characters that can just get through fireballs. Like even like if you like you have a character that like doesn't do well with sub cameo, but you might have to use sub cameo just for the zoning
Yeah.
itself. So
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
that's fair. I also like place her like mid, high mid because she did get nerfed. I think the nerf were in which NRS made it so when you do a fireball and it whiffs, you don't build meter. I think that was huge for her because
Yeah.
she doesn't build it. Again, I never like did a research, but I'm sure she builds a lot less meter than she used to, which affects the way she really wants to play, which is actually just run away, get meter, armor,
Yeah.
armor out on the other side. Like just rinse and repeat. Uh,
Mm.
but you mentioned Raiden earlier. What do you think about him after his buffs?
Oh, dude, that character. See, it's embarrassing to get mad at me, but I think that character is like top 5 and up, or not top 5, but like around like the top 8 or 9 area. I think I don't know why these guys decide to buff Raiden that hard, dude. Like his like frame 1, what is it, reversal that can punish pokes and you
Razzle
can
dazzle.
combo, dude. Razzle dazzle, man. And
Dude, that
like
thing hits
EX
you out of
razzle dazzle,
nowhere. That movie's so annoying, man. Hits you like
dude. It's so annoying. Like
yeah.
it's so fast. It has like you can't punish it really, and it's like yeah, that shit is broke. I actually have him beating Homelander. Just cause like I cannot do any type of poke or flow pressure because he can just razzle dazzle and negate everything. So it's just like, all right, what do I
Who do you
even
think?
do?
Who do you think is Raiden's best cameo, at least against Homelander?
Against Homelander, I do think it's Sector or
So
Striker.
they so they still do that crap, right? Double missile into.
To teleport into
It's like-
low or
it's
overhead,
still
yeah.
similar, but yeah, it's still worse. It's like yeah, it's like the same crap as Kung Lao, right? Like double missile
Yeah.
into with dive kick into fifth. Yeah, dude, he's scary to fight. I had like in my tier list I have an S tier, and um even if Raiden is not in it, like you said, he's definitely like under it. I feel like, and they also buffed his freaking overhead, right? These are like what 7, 8% or something. Now it does 10, I believe. So
Mm-hmm.
you know you get to like just take it less, right? And then you use a razzle dazzle, whatever the movie's called. That's an issue. And he's still like he's always been like a fundamentally solid character. Like he's got what is it, forward four right that low, which is still good. Goes to the
Yeah.
highs.
3
He's very
hitting low.
yeah. He's got good damage. Um, very toxic with Sector. Can also be played with Jax. You know, like there's so much damage.
Oh yeah, Jax. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that character is really if he like if he's not top 5, I do believe he's for sure like top 10. But surprisingly, not too many people use him. I don't know what happened to all the Raiden
Mm-hmm.
players, you know, who got really excited after the last patch, but it seemed like they kind of disappeared. But I agree with you. I think he's very, very good.
Yeah.
Um, how about this character I hate? It's Smoke. What do you think?
Uh, I think he's like just out of top 10. Um, his pressure is really good, and his smoke striker's diabolical. If we're talking about Smoke himself, I think he's like out of top 10. But
Yeah.
Smoke Striker specifically, I definitely think that's like a top 10 team. Just like keeping it 50% off of one mix, and then you're end up in another mix because he just goes invisible. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man, it can be a struggle.
that it's so frustrating fighting against that character.
Yeah, I know, I know. Yeah, Smoke Sector is very very, very powerful. Honestly, a lot of the top tier cameras go. He can also use Smoke Tremor, Smoke Sector. I've
Mm-hmm.
also seen Smoke Frost, which is very strong, like in the corner. Journey's got this like really toxic mix up, and yeah, I think the character. I agree with you. I think he's also like in the you know within the top 10. I'll ask about maybe one or two more, and then I'll let Frank will jump in. How about maybe how about Nitara?
Honestly, at first, when the first came out, I was like, yeah, this kid is broke. She can just fly across the screen and can't do anything. But once I started fighting her more and learning her counters, I don't really think she's that good. I think she's like top, like maybe mid tier, maybe a little bit, maybe on the low tier side, maybe. Um, like what is it? Full Auto plays her, and he plays Nitara Sonya, and that's actually a pretty decent team because he gets slow and overhead mix and stuff. So, but other than that, I don't think she's that scary, or I don't think she's that broke, to be honest.
I agree with you, but when I fight against a character, I think I panic too much. And maybe sometimes I outblock too much. Like,
Yeah,
what's the what would you say is like? How do you like
yeah. Once, yeah,
fight her like
I
in the
agree with you.
like how do
Yeah, if you
what would
start
be your advice?
panicking,
Yeah.
yeah, if you start panicking against her, you're definitely gonna lose because then you're just gonna like be frantically trying to like upblock her, and it's like, oh shit, the upblock didn't work. Let me try anti-ing her, and then you get hit. So it's like your defense has to be really solid against her, and also have a lot of patience against that character. Um, But yeah, that's how I would go about it. Just have a lot of patience and just like play little like up block mind games. You know, I up blocked it this first time, and then I'm gonna try anti the next time, and then just keep mixing that up.
And to
And
be
I think
fair,
that's a good way to
like
beat her.
me personally, I think Farah is her best cameo. Which, if you do run into Natara Farah, just to be fair to yourself, like you're probably not gonna block every mix up with Farah. You know, that's just the nature of
Right.
Farah.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
for
true. I
sure.
think, but you would think like with Kung Lao would do very well, right? Because Kung Lao does have one of the best area control in the game. But I think I panic too much sometimes, and I just kind of like
Mhm.
open myself up to lows because I'm not blocking, and if that character hits you, like you just explode.
Yeah, you
The damage is like
explode,
so high. Oh my god, like so.
bro.
But yeah, I agree with you. Like if your defense is on point and you don't panic, you can block a lot of her stuff, unless maybe
Mhm.
she's using Farah,
Natara Darius is another one that's probably pretty tricky too.
yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah, Darius is another one. Yeah.
because that means she also gets like extra health. So, but yeah, I agree. Let me ask you about one more again. I'll let Frank will jump in. How about Rain?
Rain.
Dang, you actually took one of my picks. Good shit, Mario.
That is, I talked to 2 trillion about this a little bit.
Yeah, he was on the podcast not long ago, by the way.
Oh wow, W
Yeah,
trillion, best Rain player.
I
It's
agree.
my goat. He actually thinks Homelander beats Rain, but I think it's 5-5. Just cause Rain back 3 is very very good, and he thinks it's better than, or he thinks forward 4 is better than back 3, but I think they're both broke, just as broke as each other, to be honest.
I can
Like,
agree with that. I agree with the 4-4 being better, but go on.
oh my god, Rito hates me.
I hate
Um,
Homelander, not the player.
I know, bro. I know.
No, for sure. Like Rain's, what is it? Back one? Is that the normal? Like when you whiff it, I think it's something insane. I think it
I think it's
has
only
like
got
less.
24 recovery frames. I
Yeah,
think
it's like
I think
yeah,
Homelander's 4-4 is like 28, 26.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think with the Rains, correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's maybe like slightly more execution because you have to. I know it's like 50 frames of freaking cancel recovery, which is again it is crazy. But I feel like Rain. I could never. Again, I can't even use Homelander. I'm not like the execution god here, but like I feel like Rain is more difficult to use than Homelander, which doesn't
Yeah, for
necessarily
sure.
contribute. It doesn't necessarily contribute in a matchup, but it can like in a tournament, right? Because I've
Mm,
seen even Trillion or even these other Rain, like they will drop the cancel sometimes, like because I think that character like you just constantly have to cancel. Everything is a cancel,
yeah.
even his projectiles you have to cancel. Even the whatever the one when he goes up in the air, I forget the name. So I think he's
Mm,
more difficult to use, which can kind of affect the way you play with him.
I'll let MisT
yeah.
answer in just a second. I like just to throw in my 2 cents before he gives his answer is like the selling point for me with Homelander's forward 4 versus Rain's back 3 is Rain, he does use his leg in like the animation, so like some of it is like not disjointed. So you can kind of contest it a little bit with some characters that have disjoints, like Homelander or like an Ashra or whatever other character with those properties.
Hmm.
Garrus doesn't really have those, by the way, um,
Okay, buddy.
but Homelander's forward 4, he's like the animation of his forward 4, like it's just a line, and he stands like pretty far away from behind that laser line. And
Mm,
if I'm not mistaken, I think it does reach slightly farther than Rain's back 3. But even if it doesn't reach farther, or if it's like the same range, I think the fact that Homelander is just a little safer when doing it in terms of like whether like how disjointed it is. That's like the main
mm,
selling point for me on it, along with like having very safe recovery frames, like maybe a few frames slower recovery than Rain's back 3, but he does have range and reach and disjoint. In my, I think if I'm not mistaken, like definitely has like a safer disjoint region than Rain does.
mm.
But that's the selling point for me on this debate. But go on, MisT. Talk about your Rain thoughts.
I think before the forward 4 nerf, I definitely think it was better. But like even though the forward 4 is a little bit disjointed, I think Rain's back 3 is just a little bit better because I know his back three. There's like this little like water hurt box at the end of his foot.
Yes, it does. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was testing
it
that
is
And
partially
I guess.
disjointed.
Yeah,
It
it
is
is.
yeah,
partially
so
disjointed. Yeah.
Yeah, that can actually hit you, even though the leg is like looks like it's out of reach.
yeah, so I think that little water part of his foot actually increases the range, and if I'm not mistaken, back three also advances him a little bit, so he adds a little bit more extra range to that. And I think it's faster than forward four, because forward four startup is pretty slow, kind of. At least max range. Um, and I think back three's startup is a little bit faster. I don't know the frame data for that. But
Yes,
I
the
do
startup's a
think,
good talking point too. Yeah.
yeah. But I do think back three is a lot better of a pressure tool, just because you can cancel either backdash cancel or forward dash cancel out of it. Mostly I can do is either dash into you or Farah mix you, but then you can just armor that. So
Yeah, they
yeah, I
also do
mean,
like they do like back three out into like Janet's not punch a good amount. I don't know if that I don't think it jails, but if you try to press a button right, walk away, then that will get you. So
yeah, it's a good check for sure.
To be fair though, you can armor his rain cancels too though. Just to be fair.
no,
Yeah,
that's true. But you know, you could. I think MisT is right is in the fact that it's kind of like a better quote unquote pressure tool because you can there's a cancel, and you can move around a lot easier. You can call in Janet, and I've seen like a set like dude, people get like back three into not punch like a lot, bro. Like
yeah,
they're
because they
trying to
try to take
move.
their turn back and it's
Yeah,
just you
yeah,
can't.
and then But honestly, like if you're trying to play footsies with Rain, against Rain, what are you doing with your life? Like that character, everybody should be running away from. When I play Kungla, I'm never mid range because you're just gonna lose. Like what? Like there's really no point.
Yeah,
I just run
right.
away. That's why I think he. I was down playing Sector earlier, but she's probably a character, like who does very well against him, right? Like you never want to be in mid range. Just run away
Yeah,
all day. Build meter. When he gets in, you just kind of block. Maybe try to do armor. Don't contest. Don't whiff buttons, because that's what he wants you to do. Is he wants you to whiff. He wants you to play mid range, and if you do, then you're just gonna lose against that character.
yeah,
I
but
personally, I don't know where you place him. I think I would place him like outside of the top 10 as well. I think
mhm.
one of the best things about him is the fact that he can call Janet and then finish a combo and then be like plus a million, put a bubble on the screen, like put not a bubble, but the water
The
thing.
whirlpool, yeah,
Yeah, put that and essentially like disable your wake up and then put you back in the blunder, play more footsies. I think that's really really strong. But yeah, his like projectiles are really slow, so it's difficult for him to like you know trade with people, right? Because they're kind of slow and they're very telegraphed. So if you're using like a sector um, cameo, and obviously you see trying to go for the whatever rain god, then obviously you just fatal blow his ass. So,
yeah,
but yeah, do you agree with right outside of top 10, or do you have him higher?
yeah. I agree. Right outside of top 10 for sure.
King Junior, go ahead. Who are your characters you want to ask MisT about?
How do you feel about Ermac?
Um, I think that's a 5/5 to be honest. What is it? Stand two, Ermac stand two, very much beats Homelander's forward four. Um, but other than that move, I know it's a high, but like in the heat of the moment, you're not really trying to like, I guess like look for that move. You're trying to look for like the mid, because the mid is also pretty quick. And even if you're trying to backdash out of his range, you get hit with stand two, and that just makes me so angry getting hit with that move. Um, but I think the matchup is pretty even. Um, Ermac does have really good strike throw with Janet, so it's kind of a little bit difficult. But I think Homelander can zone out Ermac pretty well, and even in the mid range, I guess if you're looking for stand two, it's pretty easy to just hit him, whiff punish him, or if he's trying to go for overhead, for the mid, just like block it out and stuff. But I do think it's a pretty even matchup.
He's one of the characters I think I have like a controversial opinion on. Like I think he's better than what most people put him. Like I feel like
Mm-hmm.
we haven't seen Ermac at like his peak, really, because he hits so hard. And I know those combos
Yeah.
are difficult to execute, but I just feel like most people just don't want to play lane with him. Like I feel like the way to play with him is like a hit and run style, hit the Death's Embrace, take no damage, and whatever meter you
Yeah.
have takes the damage for you. But I just feel like people aren't content with like playing that way. As far as I know, I haven't seen a player do that really. They like fish for the
Yeah, I don't see any of
combos,
them
and then they still
do
fish
that.
for like other forms of offense, even if they have a life lead. I'm like, why not just run away with Death's Embrace and do some cancels here and there to build more bar? And I know those
Yeah.
cancels, like doing them as you're running away, probably does cause like some minor arthritis in your hands, but I think
Yeah,
that's
for
like the
sure.
optimal way to play them. Like, it's like MK9 Cabal. Like, you're not only gonna rush down with him, like you're gonna optimally playing him. Like, you have to run away and zone with him a little bit. That's like kind
Yeah.
of how I feel about Ermac, but um, he's personally in my S tier. But yeah, that's one of the controversial takes I have with him. But um, how do you feel about Sindel?
Ooh, that's a matchup I've played a lot. I used to think Sindel beats Homelander just because her forward one um beats out my forward four, but um I think Homelander it's actually 5-5 now. Just because I've learned the counterplay. um but Sindel Tremor is still very difficult to deal with just with the unblockable setups or the hard to blockable setups and stuff. But other than that, I think Homelander can beat her in the zoning game and a little bit in the mid range. If you're looking for a forward one, you're definitely gonna try and outspace it and try to whiff punish your forward four and stuff. But yeah, I definitely
Yeah,
think it's
forward
a
yeah,
five
and
five.
forward one got nerfs, right? It used to be high, mid, right? Which was honestly, it was essentially a mid because
Yeah.
the second hit would come out so fast and like clip your low pokes or clip anything for that matter. Once they changed it to like high, mid, I think
Mhm.
that was a huge nerf for her. But I agree with you that at any time, like if she has tremor available and then whatever they do their stupid aerial cancel stuff and then it's essentially 50-50 when to block, high or low, whatever, she can like
Mhm.
take away like 60-65% easily, maybe even more, right? So she's super
Yeah.
she's another character, like if you're playing footies with her, why? Well, I mean, obviously with home, like, you kind of have to, but like I feel like, again, she's another one of those characters, like if you're using sector, I think she could as well, right? Because there's no reason for you to be anywhere near her because only bad things will happen if if you try to.
Yeah, for
If you
sure.
try to like engage, right? Same thing. If I'm using Kung Lao, I just run away. Hat, switch sides with maybe double missile, go for mate, right? Again, because if you try to like engage too much in mid-range game, she will beat your ass, like, and she will put you in a like nasty situation.
Yeah.
They can
Nasty
really,
blender.
yeah, nasty, and you can just like steal the round. So uh,
Mhm.
for me personally, I don't know where you rank her. She's a bit controversial. Um, I don't know. I think I still think she's very strong. She's either like top 10 or just right side of it. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think she's like sits like right on top of top 10.
Yeah. Who by the way, you said you had a lot of matchup experience against her. Like who do you play a lot?
I used to fight Pure and Bean Cell a lot.
Okay, yeah,
Because I actually needed help a lot with that matchup. Um, but yeah.
yeah. We had Bean, so I don't know, like various months ago, and I think he was downplaying a little bit, to be, in my humble opinion. But
He do be
uh,
downplaying that character.
yeah, I still think she's strong, but I do think, to be fair to him, like that forward one nerf, that was a huge nerf. There's no question about that.
Yeah, that is huge. The fact that you can just poke her out of it now is a pretty detrimental to her game, but she still has like, tremor and she still has pretty good zoning, so
Yeah,
I think it makes up for it.
yeah, and she can still use Kung Lao, if she wants better zoning. She kind of has to choose between, do I want like
Yeah.
better mix-ups, then I use Tremor. If I want slightly better zoning and footsies, then I have to use Kung Lao. So
Mhm.
yeah, go ahead, King Junior. Continue, please.
I got one more character, and then I got a question whenever the time comes. Um,
Of course.
I got you.
how do you feel about the big, dumb, sweaty barbarian Conan?
Conan, dude, I actually used to think that character beat Homelander just because his Ford 2 is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
And
another
pairing
one.
him with Shujinko, he gets free 60%. It's like, all right, buddy, like, you got it. But you can actually, Homelander actually has a lot of good counterplay against Conan. You can actually just parry the Ford 2 string at any time. Like, even if they whiff it and they continue the string, I can just parry and negate it, or forward 4 or back 1. But he does punish. He is able to punish me on my air, on my float pressure, which kind of sucks because like I have to be very careful when I want to do air pressure because you can just
Is it?
stand one
Is it
punish me.
okay? And I assume also his armor works well, right? Because it goes up.
Yeah, but I don't know if you know, but if he does the uppercut armor, you can actually dash under him and punish him.
Oh, I
You don't have
see.
to
I see.
guess. You don't
Yeah.
have to guess if he comes down.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay.
Yeah. So that's some good kind of play against him. Um, his other armor was also really good because it has like multiple hits of armor. So if I try and like forward 4 into anything, he can just do that and just stop me from doing any kind of pressure. But I think it's 5-5. I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like
You can
Conan's
very
always been a pretty, like, some people think he's like damn near S tier, but then I think some people think he's mid. So it's like he has had some mixed opinions. I feel like from the community.
yeah. I definitely think he's mid tier.
I think he just lacks what I talked about, right? This game is very explosive with its, you know, hard to blockables and overheads like Melina's or Raiden's, right? That do like 10% and just quickly add up. He doesn't really have anything like that. So I feel
Yeah,
like
he
the
barely
fact that
has any mix.
yeah, he doesn't really have any mix, so he kind of has to play the well. I'm for buffs, but I'm gonna say thankfully that stupid string that they just abused has a gap. Like that is huge. If that didn't have a gap, the character would be just like ridiculous to fight against, right? The forward 2 string. So
Yeah.
if I'm using like Kung La, they're gonna be afraid of armor. Then they try to take a risk and try to parry, like, and then I punish them. But yeah, like that kind of keeps them in check, as well as the fact that he doesn't really have a projectile, right? His projectiles are kind of, is way too slow. So you can kind of run away from him, and then when
Mhm.
he comes in mid
Yeah.
range, you just kind of have to hold it. You just respect him, and then you try to take your turn when appropriate and try to run away some more. That's the way I fight him. But I agree with you. I think he's mid tier, maybe like top 15 or so. Depending on where
Yeah,
exactly you
especially
rank him.
like with him Shujinko, I think is a very good team.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. He also has like he gets crazy health, doesn't he? Like it takes forever to kill.
yeah, he has like 1200 health.
Yeah,
Boss
so
character.
yeah, it's like a boss character.
Wait.
King Ju, you wanted to ask him another question outside of the characters?
Yes. So the in the beginning of the podcast, you mentioned like playing various NRS games and like some Street Fighter. Like I heard like a Dudley in there, which I actually played a little bit of Dudley in Street Fighter 4. He was cool, like the machine
Let's
gun blow
go.
and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
and then you said Reptile early on in MK1 and Peacemaker. I don't know if you mentioned any other characters from like MK versus DC. Like I don't think you said who you played in MK versus DC or UMK3.
Yeah.
But who was
So
like?
UMK.
Oh, go
Yeah.
ahead.
I was gonna say UMK3. I played Sub Zero and Cabal, and in MK versus DC, I played Sub Zero and Flash. Those are my characters.
Do you have like a favorite MK character like of all time?
Yeah, it's gotta be Kuai Liang Sub Zero for sure.
Dang, you say that like you're into the lore. Are you into the lore at all? Like this
A little
MK
bit.
lore? Okay, okay.
Yeah. I've done some search of the MK lore. I played the MK9 story mode. I didn't play the MKX story mode. I played the MK11 story mode.
You're not missing
MK1
out
story
on
mode.
much on those, honestly. Like there's a lot of power scaling issues, and I won't dive into that too much. But and
Yeah,
then
I've watched the
MK1's
movies and
timeline is
stuff.
just oh my, it's a mess. It's a mess. Why are
Yeah,
Sub Zero and
it's
Scorpion brothers, dude?
yeah, dude. I don't know, man. We don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. But
But I
yeah.
ask because I think Dave knows where I'm going with this subject, but
I think I do.
yeah, the what I always call the L word. Uh,
Oh
if
no.
No, it's
legacy
appropriate.
is the topic,
Yeah.
uh, but if you had like, I don't know if your favorite like so Kuai Liang Sub Zero or whatever, like I don't know if
Mhm.
you like how he plays in MK1 or like in past games or not, but um, long story short, being that like MK1's like your first competitive fighting game, I don't know how much you would like feel about this topic, but me personally, like I think MK like how they scrap their designs and remake them from the ground up. I feel like it kind of does harm to like some characters' identities in the gameplay department, and
Right.
I think they should be more consistent and like more. Hence the term legacy. Like MK9, we'll use your favorite character as an example. MK9 Sub Zero didn't play anywhere near as similar to MK11 Sub Zero because MK9 Sub Zero didn't have 50/50s like 11 Sub Zero did, and 11
Mhm.
Sub Zero didn't have an ice clone. And I know MK11's power level is really low, so it's probably partially why he didn't have an ice clone. But again, MK11 didn't also have any legacy aspects to it because all the game mechanics were completely different and unlike previous MK games for the most part. So um, even
Yeah.
outside the characters, like the game mechanics aren't always legacy. So like in my opinion, I think my favorite games are like MK9 and Justice One. And
Mhm.
I think they should, in my opinion, if they make the next game, like I want it to be like have the foundation of MK9 and build upon it. Um, I don't know how
Yeah.
you feel about like what your ideal game would be if you were to like be for Legacy, or if you would rather them make like a brand new game from the ground up like they usually do. Like, how do you feel about that? Like, I
I
know it's kind
definitely
of broad at the moment, but I'll get into more specifics based off your answer.
I got you. I'm definitely in for the more legacy stuff. MK9 was definitely my second favorite other than Street Fighter 4 at the time. And MK9 is still top 5 fighting games for me, so I just really wish we can go back to that era of like cuz I mean MKX the run button was cool, but to me personally, I prefer dash canceling for movement instead of like a run button. Um and the way the combo system works in 9 really good. The vast majority of moves that aren't locked behind like a variation system or anything, I think I much prefer that. And yeah, as for the designs, like, give Sub-Zero his old shit back. Like he had MK versus DC, he had a teleport. I really want Sub-Zero to have his little ice teleport. It was so cool. Um, and his ice parry too. He doesn't have that in MK1, which sucks. That's why I don't really play him in MK1 because he's very, very boring. He's not the same Sub-Zero I do back in the day. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'd very much rather prefer legacy stuff.
that's partially why like I think Legacy would help in some cases too, because someone like me, for example, like you sound like you prefer like a more offensive Sub Zero, but then you have like
Hmm.
one of our buddies and pals, Tom, that wants to play like the slow you down pace like Sub Zero from MK9. So it's like now like the Sub Zero designs all over the place historically, and like you don't really like me. To me, like Sub Zero, I feel like I think he resembles a slower pace, slow you down gameplay like more in my opinion. But again, like
Hmm.
that just goes back to the legacy thing. Like you keep rewriting the character and how he plays. Like you're trying, like you can't, like I don't know. It's just it's like do you want to appeal to the offensive Sub Zeros? Do you want to appeal to the more Tom Brady esque Sub Zeros that want to play slower and defensive? Like it's a I just think it's like an unnecessary obstacle they don't always have to deal with. And like a modern example from MK1 that I always bring up, uh, my favorite designs in this game are Garrus, Noob Saibot, Shang Tsung to some extent because of like the morphs, Noob
Hmm.
Saibot because of the chaos, embrace chaos, and like the clone setups you can do with him, and then
Yeah.
Garrus, his sand clone setups, stuff like that. If you rewrite those designs in the next game that they're in, like for one, I don't know how you top Garrus's design, going forward if you were to rewrite it from the ground up. I think it would probably. I don't know how you beat his current design. Like, I think it's really good. And he was in MK11, but I think most people would agree his MK1 design is a lot better than his MK11 design. Like, the
Yeah, for
sand
sure.
clone stuff is. It's like a high risk, high reward type of deal. You have to put in lots of lab hours and lots of matchup experience in it. And it's just
Yeah.
heavy execution. So, like, he's a big reason why I enjoy MK1. Like, if he wasn't in the game, I'd probably not play MK1 to the extent that I have. He kind of
Mm,
carries the game for me in terms of fun factor. So like,
for sure.
um, yeah, that's just a character side of legacy stuff. Like, usually we like to see breakers. I think most people are pretty content with breakers. Uh,
Mm,
I'm not a fan of Fatal Blow. Like, personally, I like X rays. I think a lot of
yeah.
people also like X rays, but um, the meter system, I think MK1 did a pretty good job with it for the most part. I like our meter system. I don't like our regenerating meter from MK11, and to a lesser extent, MK1's cameo meter's regenerative. But at least we have two different meters, so it's not as like
Yeah.
bad. Um, I'm leaving something that I'm drawing a blank right now. Oh my god, I'm about to get so angry. Um, crap.
Or you probably anti-airs.
That is one of them. I do miss our traditional anti-airs from MK9. I'm not a fan of upblock. Uh, oh yeah, MKX's knockdown system I prefer. I really can't stand wake up buttons that exist in MK11 and MK1 to a lesser extent. Like, especially MK11, it was way more prevalent, but still kind of prevalent MK1. So I'd like to see like
Mm,
MKX's Oki system return as far as like how many invincibility frames you get up with from the ground. Because I feel like you just try to Oki somebody and your normals just go straight through them and it doesn't phase them. Like, they're not blocking or getting hit by it. Oh yeah, I remember what I was about to say now. Just full moves list. I'm tired of the gimmicks. I don't want to see cameos
yeah.
return. Like, I enjoyed cameos. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want to see them carry forward. I don't want to see variations come back for the third time because we had those in MKX and 11. Like, go back to the full complete moves list, and then it's just I feel like it's a little bit easier to balance a character directly than balancing them around a system that gives them multiple versions of themselves, like whether it be cameos or pieces of themselves in the form of variations. So like,
Mm,
I just think full moves lists are better too, in the sense that you have your full complete character instead of some of your character.
yeah.
So that's like on the gameplay mechanic side of things, not just character specific.
Well, let me not necessarily give like to miss, not necessarily like the counter argument, just like a more nuanced argument. I
Mm,
kind of used to believe, and again, I'm pretty sure I'm older than you, and obviously I know I'm older than Franco, but I kind of used to be in the legacy camp, and then I kind of recognized, not recognized, but I kind of, looked at what the Tekken 8 community was doing to its game, and I feel like they were just acting completely deranged. And I kind of made comparisons, with the Mortal Kombat community, and even did research in the Street Fighter community. Uh, like Super Turbo doesn't really play anything like Third Strike. Like those two games might as well could have been made by Capcom. The other, I don't know by whom, even by NRS, whatever, right? Doesn't matter, or by Sega. And then you have your Versus series, which is just completely different, right? Like Bob's
mm,
Capcom 2 is like the just as an example, the way you play footies in that game are like nothing alike, like the way the footies that they're used to in Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5 or whatever, right? Like, but it's still like one community, right? Because and it's one big community, people can choose to play whatever they want. And I feel like we're NRS/WB, scene, whatever, even going back to mid, we're like, that's the, that's kind of what we're at. You mentioned, dash blocking from Mortal Kombat 9, but the irony is that the run button in Ultimate predates all of that stuff, right? Because it was
right.
introduced in Mortal Kombat 3. So what is legacy? Well, yeah, legacy, like block dashing, that's legacy to you. But, and even to me, by the way, I like block dashing. I think it's a good thing. But the guy who started with Mortal Kombat X or with Ultimate, then running is legacy to him. So like, whom do you
Mhm.
please, right? It's an impossible question to answer, because you can't please everybody. The game's got to play a certain way, and some people will like it, and others will hate. That's really like my nuanced position, and I agree with most of what uh, King Jr. is saying in terms of, I have my own opinions about, I liked Uplock. But at the same time, I don't think we need a cameo system. I don't think we need a variation system. I like my inputs. If Sub Zero's, I don't know, uh, ice ball is down forward one, please keep it that way throughout the games. I think that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes it an easier transition for honestly newer as well as older players, for both. Just keep the
Mhm.
muscle memory the same. But other than that, man, I just say, like, go all the way out, make the games interesting. Like, if you have an interesting idea, implement it. And I'm sure that's what you know the guys at NRS, they thought cameos was the way to go. And I think it was a rough start, we all agree, but I think they kind of got it right, and they kind of managed to balance as well as they could in the time that they had. So I guess the lesson is, like, you can't please everybody, and the designers, I think at the end they're gonna do what they're gonna do based on whatever, because there's so many aspects that can be considered legacy. It just depends whom you ask. Again, MK2, no dashing, and then you play MK3, like, that's, there's legacy right out the window right there. And just like, Street Fighter Super Turbo, very uh a game very much focused on fireballs, and you play Third Strike, it's like, wait, what? Where are the fireballs? Like, you could just parry everything. Like, the best
Yeah.
characters barely even, they don't even have, like, fireballs are like that's because the game is designed that way, right, to appeal to a different audience. So that's the way I look at it. What do you think, having like heard both, I guess, both sides of the argument?
Um, I'm definitely more for like the innovation side, and I'm definitely for like, keeping variations and stuff out of the game, and like, not having cameos again, and having complete move lists, and running and the running and the dash blocking thing. I guess I'm fine with either or, because I played MK3, I played MK9, so I'm fine with both. Um, but I do believe that, yeah, NRS, they can put a little bit of legacy stuff, but most of it I think should be brand new stuff, just to like appeal to new people, and also try and appeal to the old heads like us.
Well,
Um
I think, just to kind of run this by you as well, real quick. Sometimes, like in the Tekken 8 example, you don't even have to play Tekken. But like Tekken 7 was like, ended up being like a very defensive, like very turtling the game, right? And then of course the
mhm.
developers looked at them like, no, Tekken 8 is gonna be nuts. Running plus 17, 50, 50. Like, and then obviously the community was like, what the hell is this? And they were right.
Yeah.
They were right to criticize. I think they went way too far. But it's the same with Mortal Kombat, right? 11, right? You kind of, we played Mortal Kombat X. We're like, what the hell is this? Like,
Yeah,
50,
I did
50
not like
armor,
11 at all.
yeah. And then you play MK11. It's just like, wait, you wake up, and then, I mean, you're on the ground, and now you have like 10 different options. Like, it's like, what? Like, it's just like an overcorrection, and
Mhm.
an overcorrection based on the previous game. Um and then again, by doing that, you kind of inherently could take a crap on the legacy aspect, and that's kind
The
of,
the dead horse is starting to raise from the grave, Dave. Get that
I
bat
know,
ready.
I know, right? We always beat up but it's interesting to hear, like, what the guests have to say, because I feel like, like, if you ask Tom and Rio, or even King Jr., right, the people that I talk to the most, they're usually they want their game a certain way. But I think the reality is, if you get like 100 MK, or not to mention even Justice players, like, in a room, and you ask them 10 different questions about legacy, you're probably going to get like five maybe similar answers, but then you also get like five very different answers, which is kind of like, kind of what we got from you. Like, you kind of want legacy, but at the same time, you kind of want that innovation factor as well, which is kind of where I am.
Mhm.
Where, I'm in that camp as well. So,
Yeah. I
do you
mean,
want
I'm
to
always
add
in the
any?
mood for new
Yeah.
games and stuff. Like, I don't know if you guys are gonna be playing the Avatar game, but that, kind of gives me like MKX vibes, because the variation system and stuff. And it's also very fast paced, which MKX is also very fast paced. So I think a lot of the MKX players will gravitate towards the Avatar game. Um, and it's a 1v1 game, so you've been getting a lot of versus games lately, or tag games rather. Um, so Yeah, I mean, whatever the next NRS game is, whether if it's Injustice 3, MK12, or MK13, and then maybe brand new IP or something, or MK9 remaster, just something. I'm definitely gonna be there for it for sure, whatever it is.
What would you personally like to see? Would you like to see another MK game right after MK1, or would you like to see another Injustice after this one?
Me personally, Injustice 3, just because I really did like Injustice 2. Um, and maybe Injustice 3, I don't know what mechanics they can put in there. Because I don't, I know that people were saying that MK1 was supposed to be Injustice 3, but they scrapped it last minute. And that's why like the cameo system was in the games, because like it was gonna be Injustice 3 with like cameos and stuff.
That's been
Um,
a debunked myth actually
Yeah,
too by a
yeah,
former
yeah,
developer.
oh, it's not real?
Yeah, it's not real.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
damn.
a load of barnacles.
No, not the barnacles, but yeah, I would like to see Injustice 3. Um, and hopefully they have some interesting mechanics and
I do
stuff.
feel like the game. I liked Injustice 2 as well, but I feel like the game needs to play faster. I think it's okay to have
Yeah.
zoning characters. Like I like, I that's again that's the type of gameplay style that I would like to enforce on other people. But like, if you have too many zoning characters, I feel like the game kind of gets boring for certain players, especially the casual audience. They don't like that stuff. So I
Yeah.
think MK1 for me personally, and obviously I'm biased. Zoning could be better, but I think if you make a character like Kung Lao, I don't know if you would agree or not. Like, again, it's on the wrong character. I don't want to discuss that and offend the Kung Lao players, but like, I like MK1 Kung Lao zoning, right? It's not really scrubby. You have to come to, like, is it area protectors nonstop? And then, it's not really sure when you're supposed to use the other ones because they kind of seem like whatever, right? The mid one is very unsafe. So if they make it like require skill in terms of either execution or spacing or just the general knowledge, I think their NRS will be in a good place. But if they give us another thing like a dead shot, then I think you know they're
They-
gonna run into major problems, to say the least,
yeah.
right?
I remember Deadshot on release was like Omega broken. Everyone hated him.
Yeah, when you give a character like a projectile, the recovery of a jab or with jab, then you're gonna have issues, right? So you don't want, please,
Yeah.
no more like scrubby stuff. Make the zoning interesting. Make it require skill. Like um make the zoning play, like put in the effort, to zone properly. I think then that kind of keeps a large audience away, right? Like from the character, they're not really interested because most people don't really want to play like that. But
Hmm.
if you go the easy route, do this move, shuts down after cast, again, they will have major issues. But zoning aside, I think mobility should be a lot faster. These are freaking superheroes. I don't understand why they're moving at at a snail's pace sometimes. So
Right.
improve the walking. The dashing should be at least like Injustice 1, and you can keep the the role that they have in Justice 2. And honestly, I would like to see everything with the exception of well, Frank and I will agree on this one with the what is it the breakaway in the air, whatever the hell it was called. Maybe get rid of
Oh
that. But
yeah.
yeah, I liked everything else about Injustice 2. Again, just needs to play faster. Would you agree with that, or?
Yeah, definitely for sure faster. I do think Injustice 2 was a little slow, especially for some characters' walk speeds were just like
Yeah,
mad slow and stuff. But to go on your point about like zoning taking skill, I think MK1 actually did that pretty well. Like for example, Sindel's zoning, her instant air hairball is actually pretty hard, pretty difficult to do execution wise. Same with sectors, instant air rockets, or pretty much anything instant air. I think does take execution. So I do think MK1 did a pretty good job in the making zoning take skill, at least for some characters.
honestly, I think in general the game. This is another one thing. One of the things that one of the aspects about the game that's underappreciated, in my humble opinion, is like you have Geras. We talked about Ermac. I think even your character Homelander, I think gets a very bad rap for absolutely no reason. I really couldn't do some of the I'm telling you, I really couldn't do some of those conversions consistently. I know he's
Yeah.
strong, which I think is fine. So I would even add home, and not to the Geras or Ermac level, but I think he's definitely like up there. I think his ease of use has been incredibly like uh, it's propaganda by people who hate the character and who hate losing. But I don't think he's scrubby at all. And even like Omni Man, like easy to like use, get into, but like some of those conversions that like attack potency like does with whether it's
Mm-hmm.
Mavado or Tremor. I don't think that stuff is easy, man. I think you have to lab. You have to know what you're doing. And the same thing with Cyrax.
Yeah.
I hate her. I think Cyrax is a piece of shit to fight against. But like, I don't like the vortexes. I think it's stupid. But like, you obviously have to know how to play the character to do that stuff, right? You have to know your bomb
Right.
setup. You just can't pick up the play. That's the way to forward. There's no. You want to call that legacy or whatever, the right thing to do, whatever you want to pack it up as. That's what I want to see. Like, I want to see that stuff again. Less of, hey, you do this one move and then you beat like everybody. It's like, no, no. There has to be a.
Yeah.
You have to put in the work to do well. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah. I
Sony
definitely
know
think.
otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think like I think what fighting games like really like speaks to me and makes them fun is the execution. Just doing hard combos is just like a dopamine rush. It just feels so nice to hit them, and especially when you hit them online or in tournaments. Like, damn, I really hit this hard combo. And a lot of people tell me it's like, hey, if I picked up Homelander, he'd be so easy. Homelander's so easy to pick up, and it's like, all right, show me, because like that character's execution is actually pretty hard, and every little nuance, little interaction, you have to know, or else you're just gonna get blown up for it, right? People think that they can just spam forward four or spam
Yeah.
diabolical
Yeah.
dash, anything like that, and they think they're gonna get somewhere. It's like, nah, man, you gotta lab these things. You gotta lab your execution. You gotta lab your hit confirms. These conversions in the corner. These conversions, anti-air conversions, anything. You know, and that's what makes
No,
MK1 a lot of fun. It's just execution and stuff.
I agree. I think the game is again not perfect, but is in the right track as far as this is kind of what we want from our games. As far as you can call it execution, you can call it like depth, whatever because I know sometimes those terms are used interchangeably, but I think
Hmm.
MK1 for sure is underappreciated as far as those aspects are concerned. Um, we do want to be respectful to your time. We're going to ask a couple more questions, uh, and then I'm going to head to the gym. But I do want to ask you about um, one more kick that I'm curious about is what do you think about Reiko?
Mm. Reiko, I definitely think is a top 10 character. He has good zoning, even though it got nerfed, but it's still pretty good. He has very good long range buttons,
Yeah,
and he has very good, command grab and command grab mix itself. So, and he's very high damage. Like, he's a very good all around character for just being a grappler. I don't even think you can call him a grappler. He has like one command grab and just like mad long buttons. Like, imagine if Zangief had long ass hit confirmable buttons.
yeah. I was
He'd be
watching.
a
I
monster.
believe. Oh my God, I believe it was. It might have been Ragnarok against. Oh my goodness, who was the Homelander player? I'm drawing a blank, but he was punishing forward four. Homelander is obviously
Hmm.
very consistent. I believe it was standing three, which it was insane to me how long the thing reached. It was crazy, man. And
Yeah,
obviously,
and actually low profile is forward forward too at some
really,
ranges. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It was like that character. Like when they run at you, man, it's scary, dude. Like
so
'cause
scary.
I know they sometimes go crazy. They do EX run into slide, and then they do the fatal blow, and that does like 50 or something. It's just like, that's
Yeah,
like, I'm like, dude, I'm like zoning. I'm like, okay, I'm locked in. I'm zoning, and I'm like Kung Lao, like I got this. And then they do, and then random slide catches me. It's like 45%. It's like, or the stupid the command throw from the running, the EX one does like
yeah,
what is it? It's like 22%. It's something insane. Yeah. I
21, I
think that
believe.
yeah, that character I believe is also top tier. He's also in my S tier. I think he's very very strong.
yeah.
I don't know how he does against Homelander, but again I do think there's this because they can't spam stars anymore, so that's somewhat of a balance. But yeah, I agree with you. Like stars are still very very strong, like in strings and also in the neutral because they're so fast. Do you think it's 5-5 against Homelander?
Yeah, I definitely think it's 5-5. Um, they both have good counterplay to each other, so that's most of the reason why. It just comes down to like player knowledge at that point.
I used
But
to
yeah.
use him. I love his down four. That thing's so good, man. His down four is so
Oh
strumming.
yeah, his down four is really good.
Yeah, it has a lot of reach. Well, let me ask you this last question, then we'll let you go. What is next for you in terms of, you know, which games you're gonna play, and what's next for you? Are you gonna like travel anywhere? Just a tournaments, not necessarily for Mortal Kombat One, which is obviously kind of semi-dead, offline. Like, what are the next plans? What are the next steps for MisT?
The next steps are definitely gonna try the Avatar fighting game. I've been looking forward to it. I've seen good things about it, heard good things about it, so I
When is the
definitely want to
release
try
date?
that.
When is the release date for that game? Do you know?
I think it's at the end of this month. I think it's like July
Okay,
23rd or something.
I see.
Um, yeah, and then I'm gonna try that. And then Tokon comes out like 2 weeks after, so I'm gonna have to try Tokon because I love my Marvel.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, those two games are definitely in my future. As for offlines though, I don't know what the next offline would be after CEO. Do you guys
I
know what's
know. Yeah,
after CEO?
I don't even know if it happens, it'll probably be like a side tournament for MK1. Well, do you still
Yeah.
compete in the demon lobbies and the vape coaches, or
Oh
that's
yeah,
it?
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still compete in
Yeah, I
those
can think
any
of
chance that
like
I get.
Frosty Faustings question mark maybe, but that's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
far
yeah.
after CEO.
Yeah, that's like what is that in December or is that in January yet?
January. They actually, I
Yeah.
think they just put up an announcement for next year today. Actually,
Oh, I see.
Mm.
I
yeah.
mean, so that
If
is
you go
still
to
like
Frosty Faustings, be careful what you drink, dude. If you drink
Oh yeah.
from
oh
a
yeah,
dispenser, apparently they were like spiked at in some venues of the
Yeah, I heard about
tournament.
that.
oh
Good
yeah, I
thing I didn't
remember
go to
that.
that one.
Yeah, I remember that conversation. Yeah, my goodness. Uh,
Um,
can
but
you tell the? Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, no, I was just say, but yeah, that's pretty much what my future is as of right now.
Can you tell the audience like where they can find you? Just on Twitter, or if you still stream on Twitch or any of that stuff?
Oh yes, so I have a YouTube. It is at MisT419. Most of my socials are all the same. So my Twitter is Bloody Mist 2002. My Twitch is ttv.mist419 underscore. My TikTok is also MisT419. So mostly all the same stuff. But yeah, that's where I usually stream my tournament runs. On Twitch, I upload some videos on YouTube, and I mostly post like cool clips or funny clips on my Twitter and my TikTok. So yeah.
Do you have
All
any
right. Well,
shout outs
yeah.
before you go? Like
Oh boy, the
you're the
shout
sponsor, aren't
outs.
you?
Yeah, yeah. I'm sponsored by STG, S Tier Gaming. Huge shout outs to them. I got signed with them like a year back. It's been a year I think since I've been with them. Very all lovely people. Big shout outs to Linky. Big shout outs to Rio, the owner and the co-owner. Um, but I also want to give a huge shout out to my good MKNJ friends Hercules, Measy, Brienne, who is Hercules' wife. Um, Also want to give huge shout outs to my best friends for always supporting me. My friend Joey, my friend Eddie, my friend Mangu, my friend Angelo, and my friend Dakota, and my friend Gio. All those guys have helped me a lot through these my competitive journey. And also a big shout out to my brother James, who's another one of my big supporters. And shout out to my family, my mom, my dad, and of course a big shout out to all my loyal fans out there. And of course, big shout out to you, Dave, and Burrito for having me on the show.
Of course, man. Again, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your fighting game experience, your Mortal Kombat experience, and obviously,
Hmm.
your character experience as you kind of began your journey with what it was, MK versus DC, and then uh, still continue to this day with MK1. And I'm Homelander again. You're a pleasure to watch. I like watching you. Again, I know that people, they're like, oh my God, Homelander. I don't care. I love Homelander. I think to me, Homelander, I don't like certain matches against him, but I'm happy that I can do okay with Kung Lao, so I'm so I'm not as salty. But we thank you so much for coming on again, taking time of your busy day, your busy summer, in order to again share your experiences with us. Um, Thank you again. Thank you so much, and
Yeah,
we hope maybe to see you again sometime on the podcast, maybe with a different game, or maybe Injustice 3, maybe Mortal Kombat, whatever.
yeah, for sure. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Thank you
Well,
guys.
yeah. On behalf of the Nexus podcast, this was episode 28. I'm your co-host, I'm today, always here with your other co-host, a Burrito Vorgis, aka King Jr., aka Franco. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure to comment. We'll post this on Twitter and test your mind, and you guys can let us know what you think. Bye, everybody.